Hello class. We talked about citations, summarizations, and how to avoid plagiarism and practice these things using websites and text. We've also made use of Google Doc templates, computers, your iPads, and we have our weekly KeyPal conversations as well. So now we're going to put it all together when we properly summarize and cite newspaper articles in 3 parts. Here's part 1, and it is homework for this weekend. It's due Monday, so pay attention. In your group, this is group work, using the library's international newspapers or international newspapers found online, your group will successfully choose and summarize 3 news articles to post on your group Google Docs template, which, like this video, is attached in the email. I'll discuss this in more detail in 1 second. On Monday, we will check your sources and briefly talk about the articles you have chosen in class, but we won't edit them. That is for you and your individual KeyPals to do Monday night. And that's part 2. So let's talk about it. Part 2 with your KeyPals. During your weekly Monday night chat email sessions, you will discuss the articles and decide what is good or bad about the merit of the article or the use of English. You can freely talk about other things if you want, of course, but evaluating the newspaper should be part of your KeyPal conversation. That takes us to part 3. Part 3 takes place after you individually gather your critiques of KeyPal peer editing. And then you come back to your group. Then in part 3, you and your group will use the feedback to revise and compose a final edit. We'll talk more about the rubric for parts 2 and 3 on Monday, but for now, check the rest of this email for rubric for part 1 and the enclosed Google Doc template. It looks a lot like this. In fact, that's it. Let's talk more about part 1. Part 1's group work is not a web quest. You can use the library's newspapers from all over the world, or you can go online. And all of you will work together through Google Docs on each of the 3 articles to hit your front page. Do not use American newspapers. Do not use USA Today. Only international newspapers. Work together to decide what is newsworthy, and remember what we've talked about in class to get the most out of your summary by covering the 5 W questions early. And later on during the course of the article, you may discuss how. Don't worry about pictures. We will not be using any pictures for this version of our newspaper. Concentrate on the writing, the summarizing, and the citations. Check the rubric, and remember, you will have to correctly cite your sources by Monday. We will check the citations and go over some of the articles in class before you individually go to discuss your work with your KeyPals in part 2. So, first is part 1. Don't worry about the other parts right away. You have your group homework due Monday. Look for this. Check the rubric. You have a deadline to meet, so get to work.